Salam guys, welcome to Honest Hour with your host Habiba Selim. So assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to Honest Hour with Habiba Selim. So today they're both laughing in the camera as I speak, but I am joined with two very lovely guests. Both of these girls I have met at, again, no surprise, during my university time. I met them, towards my second year of university / third year and became really close. These are very dear friends of mine. And with no further ado, I want to introduce our first guest, who is Saba.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Saba. I'm second year student. I study law and Arabic. And yeah, I'm excited to be on this show and see what Habiba has planned for us.
Amazing. And then our next guest, who doesn't even need an introduction, and that is Nina.
Hey guys. Salam everyone. My name's Nina. I'm in second year law.
Yeah. So basically, these two girls are I consider them very unique because, and we've always spoken about this kind of, they are both like my university. We're all in London, and they're based in London, and they have very much a really cool vibe about them. You guys know each other.
Is that us?
You guys know each other from way back, right?
As in from college, we met in like year 12, but I guess it's been like 5 years now.
It's been a good, long time, yeah.
That's mad. No way.
So these two go way back compared to me, where we've just met at uni. But we have had really great conversations all in all, and we have so many amazing topics that we want to cover today in today's session, like all our other, talks with various different topics and just discussion. So firstly, I kind of want to, get going and speak to specifically Saba about charity. Okay, so let me take you guys back. How I kind of knew that Saba was into charity was at a charity dinner that our friend was hosting. So we were all there, and it was actually for him to go on a trip to Lebanon. And at the time, I think it was Jordan or Lebanon, one of the two. And at the time, they were talking about their experience of doing these deployments where you basically travel for a week and you distribute food and aid, and you sometimes even play with the children and play with widows and like the orphans and stuff like that. You go to visit them and give your service to these people. And I was extremely inspired by this. I was like, oh my gosh, this looks incredible and it just seems amazing. And then little did I know that Saba herself had gone a year or two back before that with her brother to Jordan. And I just find the whole experience, like, I know when Saba speaks about it, she's very passionate and she has so much kind of to share about that. So Sabzi, I kind of want to ask you about your experience and just how was it? What did it teach you? And did it change how you live your life today, kind of?
So basically it was like, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I went when I was 18. So I think it was like 2 years ago-ish. But yeah, and like up to this day, still like some of the memories, like I have a bad memory generally, like I actually forget things so often, but the things that like you see there and the stories that you hear, like they actually just stay with you like forever, and they actually are life-changing. That's why I'm so excited that you're going and just people are going, because I feel like it's not just about like giving money and things like that. Obviously that's helpful and stuff, but what it teaches you is just like the way you live your life just changes from that moment, because the things you've seen, like you can't really live normally because you've just seen like poverty to some next level. Do you know what I mean? Like I've been to like villages and stuff and like other countries. Like, remember that time in Egypt when I was just chilling in the village? You get this. We've seen like poverty like that, and we've seen obviously there's poverty in our own country, like in London and stuff like that. But when you go to these countries, like these people are normal. Like they're like me and you. They had their families, their houses, like their jobs, everything. But then that all got taken away from them. So just to see like the fact that it could happen to any one of us, and just the situation that they're in is like next level. Like some of the things you see, like it's actually crazy that people are living like that, and like we're here chilling the 21st century, and we've literally got everything compared to them. And then when you think to them, like, they're literally living with the bare minimum, which is just crazy. Yeah, so honestly, it was definitely life-changing up to this day. Yeah.
It's so mad because
go ahead, Nina, carry on.
I remember, like, literally, Saba, you told us like one story at the charity event when we were all singing. Like, remember, Habiba? I think you might remember.
That's when I was like, oh my gosh, Saba, I never even knew you
honestly, and that's like still stuck in my head. And the fact that you've actually gone and seen that, and I've only heard a story, I'm still like, whoa. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What was the story?
It was about like you were saying that this guy was like, come record our house. It was that one.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Basically, yeah. Like, to be honest, this wasn't me. This was like one of the other guys who was with us, because he does deployments regularly. So he was telling us like one of the first times when he went, so it's to do with the Syrian conflict and stuff. So he was walking through the camps, and obviously everyone, in the rest of the world, they know what's going on in Syria and stuff. But this guy was walking through the camps. They had cameras at the time, because it's the way that they fundraise and stuff like that. And they're walking, and this one guy, normally when they want to go into people's houses and stuff, they're a bit like, iffy, because obviously it's like fat cameras coming in, and you're just invading their personal life kind of thing. But then this guy, when he was walking, and one guy was like, come in. And he was a bit like, and time was running out as well. So he was a bit like, oh, I can't. But the guy's like, please come into my house. So the fundraiser was a bit like, okay, why are you so eager for me to come in? Like, normally people are kind of pushing me away when I have these big cameras and stuff. He's like, we need to tell them. So the fundraiser's like, who are we telling? What are we trying to tell them? He's like, we need to tell the rest of the world what's going on. And the fundraiser was a bit like, okay, like, what makes you think like that they don't know what's going on already? And he's like, of course they don't know. Like, he was so like, he really believed that the rest of the world didn't know what was happening in Syria. He was like, of course they don't know. If they knew, they would be here, but no one's here. It's just a couple of people. If they knew, they'd be here. So we have to tell them. Like, we have to tell the rest of our brothers and sisters what's going on. But like the fundraiser, that's when like, that's the story that stuck with me too, because it's like mad, because we all know what's going on, but there's only so much we can do. And these people, like, he genuinely believed that the rest of the world didn't know what was going on in Syria, which is actually just so crazy. But so that's what these deployments are for, kind of. It's just about raising awareness. And like, so now that I've been like, I could kind of like, you guys have seen, that it is possible for just a girl, because I remember, Habiba, you were like, oh, I didn't know girls could go, or something like that. And like, yeah, like, it's for everyone, and it's for anyone. You just have to be over like 18, I think. But it's just to kind of raise awareness, and just so now that I know, then I can tell you guys about it, and you guys know. And then it's kind of that domino effect, where now you guys are going to go and see for yourselves, and it's just about you kind of changing your perspective and the way you live your life to actually help them. Like, for me, like, it's little things. Like, before, so I was on a gap year then, and I actually didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
Me and Nina both, when we were applying for A-levels, like, for degree, like, we didn't know what we were trying to do. We both applied for like economics or something. When
why did you do
so
that? I remember
we were just like copying each
we were
other.
making our personal statements, and Saba goes, I've got a really funky one. And I'm like, oh, what is it? This is what it is. Life, full stop. Death, full stop. Economics.
It kills me, the places, bro.
I'm serious.
Make the beginning of your personal statement like stand out.
It's so funny. None of us had studied economics before.
Yeah, honestly. Like, I got an E at maths for AS level. Like, I'm so bad at maths. I don't know what we were thinking. And then we were both trying to do politics. Like, we were just clueless, really. We didn't know what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so then in my gap, like, I even went to uni for like a bit, and then I did economics or politics and Spanish, I don't know. And then I was like, why am I even doing this? I'm just doing this for the purpose of doing it. Do you get me? For going to uni, and I don't really care about these subjects too much. But then after like coming back from like Jordan and stuff, and seeing that, I was like, I want to make a difference that's like long lasting. Do you get me? So then that kind of led me to do law, so I can do like public international law and like work with refugees and stuff, because that's actually a long lasting effect. So for me, that's like every time I do my degree, like that's what I kind of think about. Like, it kind of motivates me. So for you guys, like when you guys go it's going to be whatever. Like some people, they are like upfront, like mashallah Isa, like he's there, like encouraging. He's going on deployments like regularly now, so that's what he's doing. Other people, they're trying to fundraise themselves, like doing little events. That's what they're trying to do. So everyone, I think, it impacts them, influences them in different ways, and which is nice, and which is like it just kind of motivates you. And that's the purpose of it. It's not just so that you keep giving more money. It's just so you help other people to realize. And but how do you feel about going to Habiba?
From like kind of like when I heard Saba's experience and stuff, I was very like inspired and motivated, but also like as Nina was saying, like when we were hearing these stories, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not a joke. Like this is not a field trip fun thing. Like you are going and you are going to see things and you're going to experience and hear stories that are genuinely, you can't even make this stuff up. You know what I mean? You can't even imagine this stuff. You can't even fathom that you are in your life in England, sitting at home. For me, having Starbucks every day and like drinking and buying clothes and living this fantastic life. And it's like how I think my biggest issue and my biggest fear initially was just like, how could I not live with myself? But I just feel this sheer amount of guilt and this sheer amount of like, and helplessness. Like I can't, me as Habiba, I want to, and you probably, and I know Saba, like, I feel like you can relate to this. Like when you get there, you're going to want to literally like stay and try and help them as much as possible. And that's what I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like this is petrifying. So I was definitely scared about that, but I never wanted that to stop me. But then obviously like just the fundraising and stuff was a lot of you needed to make like £4,000, like that was so expensive. But alhamdulillah, the way it came about for me was very, very easy, and it presented itself to me in a way that was very like, I can't turn this down. So I then just kind of just grabbed the opportunity, didn't really think too much into the fear of it and be like, oh my gosh, like am I even helping? Because I studied development studies, right? So my degree essentially is built on criticizing humanitarian aid, humanitarian assistance. All of my, because it's all critical studies. And so I was having this internal conflict with myself, like, because I've like done essays and I've studied this field in development, because this is essentially what development is all about. Yeah. And about humanitarian assistance. Does it actually help? Faith-based organizations, do they actually help? Is this sustainable development? This and that. So I had all of these like these also criticisms in the back of my mind, kind of like but then I think I don't know who said it to me, but someone along the line was like, Habiba, it's okay to, to have these, understandings and criticisms, because of course it's not like once we leave, these people's lives are not, they're not, necessarily going to get up and move to England and live a fantastic life. No, the situation will continue, and it has continued for years and years. I can't save these people, but what we can do is alleviate some of that pain and some of that suffering. And if I can provide that service, then I've done my job and I'm happy with that. And I think often with charities and you feeling helpless, because it is a very vast, massive problem, that as individuals we feel like helpless and we can't change that. But I think you can do what you can where you can in the state of what you're given. So I guess with that, I was just like, just go for it. Like for that week, right, I'm going to have helped some child smile, or some family feel a bit less pain, or someone feel a bit more love. And if I can do that for someone, then I think that's what we should be encouraging. Because literally like in development, when you study it, it's very dooming, it's very like daunting and very like pessimistic.
But if you think about it, like if none of these people did go, then it's true, like no one would know about these things, and no one would be raising money for these things. So I think it is still, regardless, fair enough, it doesn't create like life-changing support and things like that, but then that's the thing, it like motivates people to do that, because once you've seen that, now you're going to think, okay, what ways can I help these people, like in a more sustainable way, kind of thing. So I think it's definitely still important, like this way. And for me, when I was thinking like obviously giving charity is a big thing in Islam, but Allah also says like just give what, like just spend from what He's given you. So for me at that time, like it was time, like I had time on my hands, I was on my gap and stuff. So for you now, you've got time, whatever, because you might not have money to give, whereas you're taking the people who have money to give but not time, so you're taking their money and you're using your time but using their money. So it's kind of everyone's just giving what they can, and I think that's like the main important thing. Like it doesn't need to be like a full sustainable thing, because once you've seen it, then you've made that difference for yourself, and you know, okay, I'm going to go tell other people, then they're going to help, and it's kind of just that domino effect, like I said.
No, for sure. And I think it's very easy to kind of fall in, like for me, I'm very much a perfectionist, and I like to do things to the full amount and the full degree, and I just want to get results to the best of, you know, whatever. But then the problem with that is sometimes I will off-put myself from doing a task because I'm like, I won't be able to get the best result. And that's really bad, because you should try, you know what I mean? You should try. And I think, who was it? I think it was my brother who said, like, if you can try and fail, like, what is it? It's like, I don't know the quote now, but it's like basically, it's basically a quote saying like, it's better to try and have failed than to fail
without trying.
Than to not have tried at all, kind of thing. And I think everybody even listening right now, like I'm sure during Ramadan you are bombarded with charities, and that's actually such a beautiful thing that warms my heart genuinely from the Muslim community, our charity and our ability to give.
Like Twitter feed is full of donations. It's so nice.
It's so beautiful to see.
And like, I'm not being biased or anything, but genuinely, I've never seen a community come together like the way the Muslims come together and give in charity. And I think, especially Saba, like when you were there, I'm sure you probably saw that, like, most of the people out there were Muslim. These are Muslim organizations that are providing this service, and not even like, because I'm going with Human Relief Foundation, but I know currently in Lebanon right now there are other organizations, Islamic Relief, Penny Appeal, like they're everywhere, and in Ghana and in so many places. So that is beautiful. I think that is very, very encouraging as a Muslim ummah, that I think we've done really well at, and we've been able to really come together for the sake of our fellow Muslims in other countries. And like you said, I don't think it necessarily means you have to be on the ground for you to be making change. That change can literally come from whatever level. And having studied development, it literally, the most effective change essentially does come from bottom up. So when all, like, local level, you know, working together and coming together and stuff to help people, that's essentially where the change comes from. Because yes, I'm probably not going to be a president, and I'm probably not going to be able to change the law, right? But what I can do is this, and what everyone can do their bit. And I think that's where just the whole concept of charity and taking this opportunity comes into play. And I think if anybody is presented with this opportunity in their university time, or if they know anybody, or if they can, I'm sure Saba, you probably recommend for them to go, like, strongly.
100%. Yeah. And I think it also kind of removes that some people have like some stigma attached with charities or something, that when I give it, like, does it even go and stuff like that. And like, fair enough, some money might be taken for like whatever administration, and because people, that's their job, do you get me? They need to make a living too. But when you see like the actual difference that the charities are making, like when we were there, like there's people living in moldy houses. I remember one guy, like he was sitting there, because basically we go to visit like different houses, and then you just like hear their stories, kind of thing. And then because we give like each family, try to give them some money and stuff. So when we went to one guy's house, like there was like a family of 7, and they were literally in one room, and it was moldy everywhere. It was crazy, like it stunk with mold. Like when we went in, we had to like cover our mouth. And we were speaking to him and stuff, and he was like, I would give you something, I would give you like food or anything, but I have nothing for myself. Like I literally don't know what I'm going to eat in the evening. And he's like, I'm a really good chef. I used to be like such an amazing cook and stuff. But now, like, if you tell me to cook, what can I cook with? I literally have nothing. All we eat is like water, basically water and bread. That's all I can have. But I'm such an amazing cook. And then literally he was an old man, and he was sitting on the floor, and then he told his son to come. They were sleeping on the floor, literally right in front of us. Then he picked his son up, and this old man, he was swinging his son. His son was about 10, and he was just swinging. He's like, look, he doesn't weigh anything. He's just bones, because we can't eat, basically. And he was just, an old man was literally swinging his son, kind of thing. So just things like that, when you give the money, it does reach them, because at the end of the day, we were able to give them, alhamdulillah, from the donations that other people gave us, gave them some money, and then they did have food for whatever that month or those couple of months, and that just helps them, you know, kind of go on, because you don't know what could happen in that month. So I think anything you do give, or you may not think it gets that far, but I think it definitely does help, kind of thing.
No, for sure. And I think, like, as you're saying, it's just I think the fear of those like negative thoughts or the what ifs or whatever. I just think if you genuinely spend with the right intention and in the intention of Allah will make it possible, and inshallah provide that service and provide that intention that you wanted to give to someone, and it reached someone. So I kind of we went into a very long discussion about charity, but I just find it so important. And I used to be one of them critical people that was like, like, how do you know it gets there, whatever. But then actually meeting Saba, and especially so many of our university friends, like you're saying, who are very active in charity work, I learned a lot, and I was educated a lot. And I think it's very important to hear the testimonies of people who have gone and have seen it for themselves, because you guys can speak the best for that, because you've seen it and you've actually seen it in action. So I definitely found that really important to touch on. But now, to integrate our beautiful, lovely, wonderful guest, Nina. And not that Sabra is a beautiful, wonderful ever, but I feel like both of you guys actually can really, just to kind of shift the conversation, the topic onto just 2020. And I know so many people don't want to talk about it. It's the year that everyone wants to put. It's the year that everyone wants to put behind them and forget and whatever. But actually, me and Nina have spoken about this a lot, and actually saying how, like, it's crazy that 2020 actually might have been our best year. And
honestly, like, that is so, because it's literally like, bring back 2019, bring back. I'm like, no way. Like, no. 2020, I feel like as well, like, at this period in our life, to take a whole pause, like, it's like everything comes so fast, and we already know this, like, everything comes so fast. Like, when you hit 18, it's like, okay, focus on what uni you're going, focus on this, focus on that, like, it's literally so fast. But to take this pause, to like take time for yourself, to have so much free time now, like in the day, like you're not having to travel to places, you're not like meeting your friends and stuff, to have limited social contact as well. Like, it's just time for yourself and to grow as a person. I feel like everyone I know, to be honest, like has literally grown so much. Like, compared to the person I was last year, I'm completely different, and I can even see that, like, through Snapchat memories.
Yes.
like that, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, when you see like what you were doing before, and then like,
honestly,
and just things that, like, it's just that growth and outgrowing stuff, because you look at things and you think, oh my gosh, like, or even things that you didn't do. So for example, like for me, just, focusing on like really enriching like my skin, or really enriching like my hair, or enriching myself in things that often I didn't have time for. Like, as you said, like life was so quick. I was specifically living out for university, so life was just very high paced. Like, I just didn't have time to like take care of myself in that way. And I think most people think like self-love is just like, part of it is just like face masks and all of that, but the deeper level of self-love and self-growth is that, like, actually sitting completely in isolation, which is what we were, and just learning to be okay in your own like space and your own company.
Like being by yourself is literally like, I used to like literally not be able to do it. Like, I had to, like, if I was going to run an errand, I'd like call my friend and be like, do you want to come? Or something like that. But now it's like, I'll literally just go for a drive by myself. Do you know what I mean?
You become so much more independent, which is like so good. Like,
have you noticed the difference?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you're just like, you would not do anything like on your ones, do you get me? Whereas now, like, you're just doing your own thing, and like you feel like confident in doing that, which is like so amazing. 100%. I can see that change. I'll do that on your birthday, remember? I don't know if you do, but anyway, I said you've grown a lot in this last year. Well done.
No, and for sure, I think literally, and like Nina's saying, I think we can all see in each other, our growth, and like how, much and things that we were like, interested by, whatever, just outgrowing it and just forgetting about it and moving on. So 100%. And just to rudely interrupt here, we're going to have to break for our ads, and we shall see you guys right after that. So do stay tuned, and we'll catch you guys later.
Feel your soul while your body flies. Ramadan FM. Feel your soul while your body flies. Ramadan FM. Your soul relax. Feed your soul while your body fasts.
Ramadan Mubarak from Adam Accounting Services.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Need help with your accounts and tax work?
Contact us today on 01908 692 380 and see how we can help.
Adam Accounting Services, friendly local accountants. Call us today on 01908 692 380.
German Doner Kebab wishes you Ramadan Kareem. Enjoy your doner after dusk with us and choose from the original Doner Kebab, the KCAL, the Doner Crunch Burger, or perhaps the Boss Box and so much more. You can find your nearest GDK at GermanDonerKebab.com or bring the Ramadan experience to your doorstep by signing up for your Ramadan pack at RamadanTentProject.com. German Doner Kebab. Kebabs done right.
Come and visit us at Al Ansar and find fantastic deals on food and drink. At Al Ansar, we specialize in Asian groceries and HMC halal meat. We stock products from all over the world and have everything you need this Ramadan. From big packs of rice, flour and oil to dates, treats and snacks. You can find us at 153 Queens Way in Bletchley or call us on 01908 411 334.
Where there is extreme poverty, there are always orphaned and abandoned children. Every 2.2 seconds, a child loses a parent somewhere in the world. There are over 200 million orphaned children worldwide. Muslim Global Relief provides education to help orphaned children develop the skills they need, making positive changes in their life and breaking them free from poverty. Awarded the UK's Best Muslim Charity of the Year. Make a 100% zakat donation. Visit muslimglobalrelief.org.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Abdul Rais. I've been presenting the health show on Ramadan FM since 2009 during the holy month of Ramadan. I shall be presenting the health show once again this year, inshallah, every Saturday between 6 and 7 p.m. Please join me for the health show this year once again and listen to the experts talk about various health issues every week. So that's the health show with Abdul Rais every Saturday, 6 to 7 p.m.
Venture into the world of Islamic literature and writing with our new show, Ramadan Reading Retreat.
Aisha, Rumaisa and Sharza will bring to the airwaves all things bookish, from e-readers to the dog-eating debate.
Join us as we discuss topics such as our Ramadan reads, modern Muslim publishing, transformational books, and reading in the modern age.
Everyone is welcome to our retreat every Saturday at 3 p.m.
For a list of all our sponsors, please visit ramadanfm.com.
Ramadan, 87.9 FM.
Salam guys, welcome to Honest Hour with your host Habiba Selim.
So Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to the second half of Honest Hour. We were having a very, very lovely conversation before our ad, so I hope you guys are back again and tuned in again for this second half. So now where I kind of want to divert, you could say, the conversation is to talking about, so I mentioned earlier in the beginning that both Saba and Nina live in London, were always raised in London, have been brought up in London. So especially like you probably guys heard in my first, discussion with Halima and Samira, where both me and Halima mentioned how neither of us, like we're from outside of London, and how actually coming to London, it was kind of a cultural shock and almost just just a shock in general to see just different Muslims. And then like there's this stereotype of like London Muslims being a type of way. And so I just found it really interesting, and I will find it really interesting to kind of see how like both of their experiences being Muslim in London, how that affected them. Was it any different basically than my experience? Because I think we've definitely had this conversation before, and it has been really interesting to see just how different it was. So Sabra and Nina, you both mentioned that you went to the same sixth form college.
Yeah.
Right. So before that, you, Nina, like what school were you at? Like,
it's so funny because I was literally always at either a Church of England school or a Catholic school. So St. Dominic's was a Catholic, obviously, but that's where we went, me and Saba. And then my previous schools were both Church of England. It's so funny because it's like I was brought up singing hymns and stuff like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like we'd have to like go to church and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like on the side, yeah. But obviously, like we were like a lot of us were like predominantly Muslim anyway in those schools.
Right.
But it's like how you say, Habiba, that you were like, you had to be really strong in your faith and stuff, but even surrounded by all these Muslims, I feel like I was just like, Muslim by name. Like we all were, do you know what I mean? Like we'd say we're Muslim, this, that, but we wouldn't, like I wouldn't really know much about the religion. I would obviously from my parents and stuff. They sent me to like Quran school and madrasa and stuff like that. But it wasn't, I would say, like very strong in terms of like knowing and understanding why like we're in Islam and why it's the right religion and etc. Like I would just go and read Quran and call it a day. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, like it's really like it's so mad like to think about it. But I feel like Saba has also gone to like similar schools potentially. But I feel like you as a person are a lot more stronger in your faith than I was anyways.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like, since we were young, we always had like some Quran teacher who like taught me and my siblings, because there's like 5 of us, so like that would be our like madrasa or whatever. So like even in my school, I'm not gonna lie, there wasn't like Muslims. Like I was like one of the very few Muslims. But in my area, like I literally like West London was like full with Muslims, and all my brothers and sisters, like they all had Muslim friends and stuff like that. So I was still like outside of school, I had that like solid Muslim background, if you know what I mean. And for me, it's like, when I was with whatever in this school that wasn't Muslim, like I never felt completely like comfortable, or like I did, but like when I would be, with my other Muslims in like my area, or like during Ramadan, like praying Tarawih with the Muslims and with like my brothers and sisters and stuff like that, because obviously we have our religion, our faith basically. I just felt a lot more like comfortable and a lot more happy when I was in that kind of circle. Then I wanted to leave my school, come St. Dom's, and then that's where me and Nina
yes.
Even when then obviously that, even though it's a Catholic school, like I think Muslims like to send their children to like whatever religious schools or something like that. So yeah, even there was loads of Muslims there basically, but for me it was like, I was like, wow, finally, like I'm going to be around like Muslims, like those are going to be my people. But then like I wasn't like wearing hijab or anything at that time. So when I went, I was just kind of, like I was trying to I found a group of hijabis. I'm like, oh yeah, these are going to be my people. But it just wasn't like that. Like, we didn't really vibe like that. So, it was weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just those, like whatever. They were just different group of people, or I approached the wrong type of people. Anyway, so then me and Nina became friends there, to be honest. And I think there was loads of Muslims at St. Dom's, wasn't it? But there was like loads of it. There was like it was weird.
Like, it was low-key, like kind of segregated. I don't want to say that word, but it kind of was. Like all the like white, I wouldn't say white people would hang out with the white people, all the like Muslims would hang out with the Muslims. Like me, even like, because I wasn't very like strong in my faith until I went to St. Dom's. Even though it's a Catholic school, like obviously I met Sawa, I met all these like wonderful people, and they really introduced me back to the faith, and like I really became like Islamic. You know what I mean? Went there, which is so funny. But it was like, I would say it was like inviting, but at the same time there were like different cliques, and do you know what I mean? So
like, and even within the Muslim, like because for me in my old school, we were all just Muslim, regardless of whether you're this kind of Muslim, that kind of Muslim. We were just Muslim.
That's also another thing.
Yeah, in St. Dom, suddenly you're like this kind of Muslim, so you hang out just like this. You whatever are like this, so you're this kind of Muslim. So there was sects within the Muslim group as well, which is like very.
It's so dividing, and it's just not very like, do you know, necessary. Like, like I didn't even know about anything like that. Like it was just so strange to see like we're all just Muslim. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quite like a flaw in the ummah, anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that, like in other places, if it was just like St. Dom's.
You think? I'm not very sure. You know, Habiba,
no, but it's really interesting that you guys say that, because that's exactly what I felt like when I came to London in general and just met like, because I didn't have like it's so crazy because like our upbringing is actually sound quite similar. Like we weren't in predominantly Muslim schools, we weren't around Muslim people. In like my secondary school, there was like me and one other girl that wore hijab. Like I was probably like one of two even Muslims, but that never like was a thing. Like it didn't really harm me in a bad way, because like Saba, I definitely had that support system at home, and whenever I had, and actually ironically I had a Quran teacher who again was more like someone I just asked like, well, why do women wear hijab and men don't? Well, why did I just lay it on him like just fully, because that's my type of personality. Like I just, you know what I mean? I'm not the type to just kind of be like, okay, like I have to make sense of things. But then once I'm convinced of that, and once, you know, reason and the explanation and understanding has come about, then I'm like so convinced that no one can tell me anything. So I also had that kind of support system of like, but the difference being I kind of had that not only because of my own curiosity, but because I'm very loud and, you know, very just opinionated, I would always get myself into these debates with people, and I would sometimes find myself not being able to respond to them, or like not being able to like, you know, they're like, why is this not allowed then in your religion? For some of them I'd know and I'd be like, this, and I'd be like, oh, then they'd be like, okay, cool, no, that makes sense. But then other things I wouldn't really understand, and so I had to kind of seek that elsewhere. And in that, I think that's where, sorry, what did you say, Saba?
No, you continue. I'll speak when you finish.
So in that, it was just kind of like, that's where I guess I grew my understanding of the deen and my basics of the deen and the foundation, but that didn't but the spirituality didn't really come up until, you know, university time, when I actually began to discover what is tawheed, like what is oneness with Allah, what is taqwa, what is this. Those things came a lot later with like ISOPs and like those talks and those discussions. Yes, Mujahid's book, which I talk about in my other show. But that's where all that wisdom came from, and spirituality. But the other things, like why should I wear hijab, or why can I not, you know, go to a party, or why can I not do this? All of that kind of came through my experience living here, because that was kind of what was apparent to me at the time. However, when I did come to London, what both of you are saying, that is what I did realize. It was like, there is like the liberal Muslims, quote unquote, then it's like the practicing Muslims, and then it's like, you know, the medium Muslims. I was like, what does this mean? I just thought we were all the same. I thought, but then it's so true. You come and you see there is so many different types of how people practice their deen, and it can be very like I talk about this with Sabrina and Halima, where you just fall into this crisis of like, oh my gosh, like has everything I've ever known wrong? Like what am I? Is this Muslim? Is this Islam? Like, is this right? Is this wrong? Like, I don't know, because this person practices this way and this person practices this way. But then that, like, whilst it's great and stuff and diversity and all for that, you kind of like lose what is the truth? Like, what is the one? What is the path? Like, everyone's talking about Salat al-Mustaqim. Where is it? Like, I want to, how do I find it? Because there seems to be so many ways and so many avenues. So that's where, I can relate to that, because it's just different types of Muslims. I was like, I never knew there was like, and like types of hijabis even. Like, you guys probably relate to that when you, like, Saba, when you put on the hijab and stuff, you probably saw like, it was like, oh, like, what? Like, I'm still Saba, or I'm still, you know, I'm still myself, but like there's this pressure to be a certain way, or like
that's literally one thing that me and Sabi used to talk about back in school, like in terms of putting on the hijab. We're like, oh, like we don't want to be just another hijabi, because that's what we would call them. Like we'd be like, oh, that's
the term hijab, because it literally just clusters us all together. Like,
I hate it. Yeah,
like, there's nothing else. Like, we're just hijabis. That's it. That's it. Like, we have no other song.
Literally,
it's crazy.
Oh, you're gonna say something. I think you're gonna say something.
I've got, you know, about like the fact that you used to have debates and stuff. You used to have those in school.
Yeah.
Ever have like things like debates about Islam and stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's not. I would no, but the funny thing is, I would be the one to bring them up, because I was so just no one asked. You know, no one would ask me, but I'm the type, like, you guys know me. I'd be like, so, like, what do you think about the creation of the world?
You're so jokes.
So that's kind of like, and it would be on the bus. It would be on the bus because our bus was very.
Wait, did you have like a school bus that would pick you up?
Yes.
No
So not from my house. Yeah, so we'd have a school bus because my school, I went to like a school outside of Milton Keynes, so it was like an hour away. So we'd all link up at the bus stop. The bus would come pick us all up and like stop at everyone's area and then take us to our school. And then at the end of the day, you just get on your school bus and go home. So that's like that was normal to me. So like we just get the school bus, and then on the school bus, it wasn't just my school, it was the girls' school and the boys' school. So I was in the mixed school, like the grammar school. So there was the girls' school, the boys' school, and then the mixed. So it'd be all of us on the same bus who live in Milton Keynes or whatever. So then
I feel like that because we're all like Muslims, or like everyone kind of knows what Muslims is. You don't really have that thing where you're like pushed outside your comfort zone to kind of defend it or to kind of explain your religion. Because even though people don't really know like the depths of details, like why you wear hijab and things like that, but you just don't feel the need to bring it up. Whereas for you, because maybe you were like literally the only hijabi that they would see or something.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like I feel like in a school setting that might be true, but I worked in like an office situation, like it was just for some experience or something, and like it was like a group of guys, and they'd be like, so like why is this in your religion? Why is this?
Yes.
Why is that? And then that's when I had to like, and I was like you said, I didn't have the answers. I was literally like, it was just
ask, like, why are you fasting? I'll be like, oh, I don't really. Or like, why do you celebrate Eid or stuff like that? So things like that, I would have to like go home to try and back up my answer and stuff.
Like, remember what you were saying yesterday? Yeah, I got my answer now.
But literally that is exactly how it would be. And it's just the idea of like, as you're saying, Nina, like it's the stuff and the stuff that's almost given. That's why I want to have this conversation with you guys, because when you are raised up in a Muslim environment with Muslims around you, you don't have to ask those questions because it's a given. It's like, okay, yeah, of course we all wear hijab. Yeah, of course we all pray. Of course we all fast. Yeah. But to a stranger, that's like, wait, what is Islam? Like, why do you pray? Who is God? Like, why?
Honestly, like, do you know, it's so strange though, because I feel like, because we all just assume everyone knows what Eid is, everyone knows what a Muslim is, and it's like, I had this tutor, and then my mum was like, oh, so no class next week because it's Eid. And she's like, well, what's Eid? I was like, sorry? Like, you're from London and you don't know what Eid is.
That's what I'm saying. It's a common, like, you hear these things, or you might hear these things, or you see the hijab, but they don't actually, like, they don't care to find out more, but it's because you see, they don't need to find out.
That's why it's literally so Islamophobic, like in certain parts of the world right now as well. Because it's like they just don't know if they see something, it's just like, oh, like there's a threat.
The other, like it's different, and therefore it's scary. And but and also like for me, where I like, because I didn't wear hijab up until year 11, year 12. So I was like, I think 16, 18. I'm not sure, but I was Habiba with my normal hair out, whatever. So, and I told you, very big, bold character. So you couldn't really, like, I couldn't just put on hijab and no one would notice. So when I remember, I chose the randomest day, literally random day during the week, like it was like a Wednesday. And I was like, yeah, I want to put on hijab. I kid you guys not, I put on hijab like normal school day, walked in, and then everyone, but I think I'd like posted about it, like I'd made a post on Instagram or just so they could, I took all my pictures down.
You
yes, I put all my
Oh, but yeah, you see, when I put it on, like it was like my first day of uni, and like everyone's a hijabi, so I just felt so like just like you know when you just kind of blend in with
like
I don't like that because everyone just assumes like I was always like this, whereas yesterday like this was not me. You get
guys, this isn't me.
Like I'm only here 3 days. Like I don't know. It's on my birthday.
For hours I've been wearing this, but everyone just assumes like, oh, okay, she's just another hijabi, but it's like no, like yeah,
exactly. And I think definitely in London, that's what like here as a hijabi, and my like I was obviously Habiba before that, so everyone knew who I was before I put on hijab. So my identity, alhamdulillah, like it was still intact. Like no one treated me any differently. Everyone was so fine. I was still the bold, gutsy, shouting you down. Like I didn't at that time. Hijab didn't stop me from stopping to be a certain way or stop to be but then when I went to London, it was like because of this bracketing of hijabis, like with, and you know what is really interesting, and I was literally again I was speaking to my brother about this. When I was in first year, so I went to uni with one of my best friends, and she wasn't a hijabi at the time, and I was. So, but me and her went everywhere together. So meet and greets, MENA societies, so Arab societies, not just in our university, but universities like other universities. We're just active in first year, trying to get to know friends and know people, whatever. But it was so crazy to me because I saw the sheer difference in how I was treated compared to how she was treated, and specifically with guys. So when guys would approach me, it would be in a very different manner to how they would approach her. And I think that's when the penny dropped for me, that it was like, whoa, like people really, hijab is a very big thing here, and it really makes your identity literally to the point you're this or you're not. Like, and it's just that's not how it should be.
True, like. Yeah, before I used to wear hijab, like people, like they wouldn't know I was Muslim. Like they wouldn't just assume I was Muslim. So when I would do, I'm fasting, they'd be like, oh my gosh, you're Muslim. Like they would be shocked, and then they would like want to ask more, like, oh, okay, like how come? Or when they see me praying, like even other hijabis, they'd be like, what, you pray? But it's like it's not that big a deal. Like yes, I don't want hijab.
Exactly. Even me, when I found out that you prayed 5 times a day, I was like, what? Yeah. I was literally so shocked. But now it's like it's literally what you need to do.
Yeah.
Why am I not doing it? Yeah.
I think that so then when I did put it on, that kind of like from other people, that intriguement or stuff like that, or that they want to find out, that kind of goes. So it's kind of but I don't know, do you feel
very true? Because
there's more like when I look at social media, obviously like there's loads of like on TikTok and stuff, there's Muslims everywhere, but do you think there are genuinely more Muslims, or is it just that we're becoming more confident or something like that? I don't know. What do you think?
Like it's literally like it might be your feed as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's a lot of like what you watch, and then it just literally gets everything that you're. Even like in St. Dom's, like I felt like we were around so many Muslims, like, and then when you're taken out of that situation, it's like, oh, like not everyone's Muslim. Like, it's,
literally, like when you just leave London, like you just
when these guys come to
the bubble. But that's why I feel so comfortable with London. Like I couldn't picture myself living anywhere else, just because it actually feels like home. Like it's just so comfortable here, and everybody, do you get me? Like, but as soon as you leave, but that's also a bad thing because we're kind of too comfortable in our own skin and stuff like.
We should be branching out. We should be like educating people.
Most of the world, to be honest, like the having so many friends in such space kind of thing.
Yeah, no, and Saba, like what you're mentioning about like seeing more people on your feed, and Nina, you're like, maybe it is just because it's like filtered to our feed and stuff. I think that is actually the case, because when I speak to my non-Muslim friends, like I'm the only hijabi they know. So when they see my post about like Ramadan or whatever or something, I think I'm the only thing they're seeing on their feed. Like because it makes sense. Like why would they have, a bunch of hijabi bloggers on their feed? However, I also think that a part of us getting out there a bit more, or just if that is the case, is that to showcase that like Muslims are normal first and foremost, but then female Muslims, and obviously there's this whole controversy now around the hijab ban in France, and just this sheer obsession with Muslim women and how we look and how we dress, not only from outside, but as we've just discussed, internally as well within the community, whereas this fixation on hijabi versus non-hijabi, when actually we need to strip it back to the ikhlaq, the fards, like you're saying, your prayers, like the manners, your everything like that. And I think kind of when I did come to London, when I was like a bit, like especially my first and second year, I was a little baby. I didn't know what was what. That took a while, but now I think coming into my third year, and you guys as well, like even in isolation in COVID, it has made us very secure of who we are and our identity. And I think that's where you kind of just have to hold on to that and just obviously keep trusting in Allah and praying to Allah that He leads you into the right direction, but just not being so, I don't know, just like not fixated, but just, you know, like, and let it get to you, because it really can.
Well, there are, like you said, like so many bigger things we need to be focusing on, like literally basics. That's what we need to be focusing on. And the hijab is, literally, it comes after. Even when like it was revealed, it wasn't one of the first things that was revealed. It came later down the line. So it's very true. We need to focus on the main things that matter, to be honest.
For sure. And I wish we could speak about this. I say this every time. We could speak about all our discussions for hours on end. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much, my wonderful guests. Like always, you guys have been a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you guys, you listeners. Anybody who has any comments or any, thoughts or reflections on today's show, please feel free to leave it in the description. In the comments, and just let us know if you're enjoying these sessions. And thank you, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
No worries. And guys, I will see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, my dear sisters. Come and join me on Ramadan FM show, Me, My Lord, My Iman, every Wednesday at